All right, guys. So the next thing that I want to talk about when we start putting all these things together is N8N. And so what N8N does is it allows you to connect different apps to move a mission through a pipeline, right? So let's say a lot of them are really short. So maybe you want to make a chatbot for yourself and you want that chatbot to have a specific knowledge base for yourself. And so, and you want to use a specific engine. And so you set it up so that you send a voice message through Telegram to your chatbot. It sends you back a voice message back. And there's a bunch of other steps there that have to happen in the middle. It takes the information, adds the information that you sent along with its system message or system prompt, sends all that to the LLM, gets all the data back, parses out what you need out of it, and then gives it back to you, right? So maybe you have it going through a couple of them. It can search for some information and then dial in what it's found and then, take the top three choices that all use the color red or however you set it up. So there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. Let's go ahead and take a look. So this is N8N, what it looks like when you go onto the website. And so what we're going to end up doing is I have a different workspace here. Long story short, you can use the web version. It's $20 a month. And I think you can have 2 live operations that are just like on and live all the time. And then you can have a bunch of other ones that you come in and run. So like maybe you wanted to run your receipts for the week, right? Those you can just come in here and set it to run. They also have a cloud version, and the cloud version will allow you to have a bunch more ongoing processes. The difference is the cloud version is free, but it's self-hosted. So you have to host it on your own. There's a few different ways to do it. I use DigitalOcean. It costs me about $12 to $14 a month. So it's actually a little bit cheaper than having a subscription. At $10, $20 a month, what this can do as far as like strength is out of control. So getting into the point where you're like pinching pennies with it is pretty deep. So I have my own and I have all of these ongoing workflows. And there's a bunch of stuff that you can do in here. So this one, what I have, we talked about this in the Claude agent, I think. It reads from a spreadsheet, sends a message to Perplexity, updates the spreadsheet, takes the message from Perplexity, sends it over to Claude, writes a blog about it, writes metadata off of that blog. Now, this isn't just like write a blog, right? Where we have a large prompt in here that tells it how to sound like us, how to sound like me, how to be on brand, right? What to use, what not to use, what angle to take. Then we create the metadata. Then we make an image. This is just the image prompt. Then we make an image and we take that image. This is a setup to get an image of myself. Then we get some links. We inject those links. We structure the metadata and we end up publishing the blog on GoHighLevel. We need our blog authors and our blog categories to be able to make this whole thing work along with a little bit of other info. So this is kind of how it works. And then if I were to just say execute workflow, it's going to come through here and start running these. And as it runs, it's going to go to the next node. It'll get all the way through these and boom, we'll have a new blog post. That blog post will have a picture that kind of sort of looks like me in. We can look at these by going to my sites, blogs. This is my mythology blog. So this is about the Virgin Ghosts of Korea. And so this kind of like talks about a lot of this talks about certain Eastern mythology, and it will do a Perplexity deep dive on it and then write a book from the perspective of a tattoo artist telling a story. And so this is something that I can use for my clients to kind of get the creative juices flowing more than anything. If we look at a photo here, can preview it, and this is roughly kind of almost looks like me, right? So let's say we would have a new photo here. Didn't get the tattoos at all, but that's okay. I don't really care. This is just for Google spiders is who this is for. And then, so that blog post will be, will be this one. This you can see came through at this time while I was in here editing this one. So would you let the emoji crawl up your spine, becoming a dragon through ink and attention? Korean mythology tests have no business being as compelling as they were as a researching a client's concept, something about transformation. So it's missing some M dashes in here. So when I counted the proto dragon, massive serpent dwelling in cage of water bodies, perpetually striving to ascend into a true young or Meru, a full dragon. It's not born with wings or authority. It crawls, it waits, it endures, and there's something profoundly human about that struggle. So this is a blog I could read, right? I should be reading these every morning. I should just be looking at them. And I usually do come in here and get into them like this. So now what I will do, because we should be doing this for every blog post, and I don't have it set on this workflow, is give me a scheme for this article. You're going to tell whatever approve the fucking planet. You're going to tell whatever your agent is to give you a schema for stuff like this. You should have one on every page on your website. And the way I've kind of set it up, it's automatic. You could go back and you can make them for every page on your site unique. The issue is that you just want any information that's supposed to be consistent, name, phone number, email, all that shit, to be consistent all the way across the board. And because of that, you want to use custom values as much as possible to fill these things in. So that's good. We're going to copy this. We're going to add some code, print, insert, update. Let's take a look at those settings. Boom, boom, boom. This is all cool. Preview. There's that picture. Public. Bam. So not the best, but I didn't actually have to write each one of these articles. I could go spend all day diving into each of these things, right? And I should probably try to make an image where the character faces this character. A few weeks ago, someone asked me a question that stuck. Would you tattoo a faceless Muppet above? Now, what is this? Across your chest to remind yourself how easily identity fades. Now, I have a unique connection to this. My kid's mom got her face degloved when she was 17, and she is gorgeous even with the scars. And as a representation of fading beauty, that's pretty cool. So I don't know if I would do that. That is cool, very deep. Faceless monk is what it translates to. So should probably usually be that one that was male looking. But that's it. Okay. So this is not about blog writing. This is about N8N. So cancel that. We're going to just come over here. And so you can do all sorts of stuff in here. So what I will do is, this is good to go. And we're going to click on see more templates. And that's going to take us to a website that has 8,000 templates. And you can also get into somewhere in this course, or definitely under this video, I will have some files that have complete workflows and the labeling of everything that it does, right? You're going to have to come to one of my live groups and we can play with it together. But I will attach some workflows, and then this is how you find workflows that people have already made that you can just add. Some of them cost money, a lot of them are free. So let's say we want some marketing workflows, and we want to summarize a YouTube video from a transcript, right? So maybe you're writing YouTube descriptions and you want to upload your YouTube video, and your YouTube video is going to make a transcript, and that transcript is then going to get summarized. Or maybe this is dynamically generate a web page from user requests using OpenAI structured output. I don't know what this is. 2 webhooks. Where is it sending them to? HTML node to what? Oh, HTML results. So they're building an HTML web page somewhere, wherever they are sending this webhook. Now, a webhook is just like, think about it like mail in a mailbox, right? You have mail somewhere that's being sent to a mailbox, and they're labeled the same. So when you make the webhook, you're going to get the mailbox. It's going to say, boom, send mail to this page, send the webhook to X page. You're going to send that webhook. That webhook's going to have a payload that says name, address, phone number, whatever information you want in there. And then the workflow is going to take that information from whatever, your form, your website, whatever, however that information is coming into the N8N system, and then do all the information, do what it needs to do with that information from there. So maybe you're analyzing a landing page, maybe you're exporting Search Console results, right? Maybe you want to translate some data. Right now, a lot of this type of stuff, I would just have Gemini take a look at it and then make a document that I can save. So I probably wouldn't send it through a workflow, but what you could do is automate it so that this Search Console research or whatever happens every day. And then every day, for instance, a good use right now for me would be if I had a workflow, which I don't have right now, that watched my Meta Ads account and told me what was doing good every day and then queued me up to make more, like made a plan for the next day based off the previous day's efforts. I'm not sure what the parameters are for Meta Ads, but there's got to be something. Definitely, I'm sure you could do it with Google Ads. Maybe you're trying to monitor your competitors' prices. Maybe you're trying to schedule LinkedIn posts. Maybe you're trying to watch all of your artists' posts on Instagram so that you can post them to Google Business. And you want to post to Google Business every time one of your artists posts because you know that a lot of your clients still come from Google. So that's the kind of stuff that we can set up in here. And let's actually go ahead and take a look at one. So that's just the overview. And then, yeah, so that's it for this one. And then in the next one, we're going to take our Claude agent and N8N, and we're going to make brand new workflow that I haven't made before.